So in our previous video, we were able to get the character's punch working. The problem was now it doesn't actually affect anything. We can stand here and punch this invisible wall, or this wall we want to, and our character's fists just goes through it, right? There may not be a lot we can really do about that, but what I would like is to be able to see some reaction to that punch. Okay, so for example, if I go in here and I create a mesh, if I go to my meshes, there's some basic meshes in here. Let's drag this 1 meter cube in here, and I can sort of position this. I'm going to go ahead and scale it, make it a little bit smaller. I've turned the snap off on my scale so it doesn't snap to whole units. So let's make it something like that, maybe make it a little taller. Go ahead and move it up here. And now when I hit play, you'll see that my character can punch at that wall all day long. It's not going to bother it. And I can run into it and it's going to stay stationary, right? But if I select this box, I can actually go down here to simulate physics under my details. And if I click that, this will react a little differently. You'll see that my punch still isn't affecting it, but my character running into it will knock it over. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I can still do a lot of fun stuff with that still yet, and make a bunch of dominoes or something like that. But why isn't the character's fist affecting it? I mean, it's going through it. And so the answer to that is actually this capsule that our character lives in. So if I go back to my blueprint, go to my third-person character, we'll go to our viewport. It's actually this capsule that's what's colliding with that box. And when our character punches, his fist goes outside of that capsule, and it's not actually a physics-based object. So we need something that will that we can attach to his fist that will collide with that object. Okay, so we're going to create a new component in here. So again, this is under the third-person BP blueprints, this third-person character, and under the viewport, I'm just going to create a new component, and I'm going to scroll down here quite a bit to collision. I'm just going to make a sphere collision. So it's going to give me sort of just a generic sphere here. And I want this to be about the size of my character's fist, maybe a little bigger. Okay, just so we get some impact in here. We can get this pretty close. But I'm not really going to worry about placing it near the character's fist. I mean, I can move it over here and get an idea. And yeah, that's pretty close, but I'm really just going to set this off to the side. Now, I'm going to rename this just so I know what it is. And this is, call this fist. Okay, or we could call it, maybe a little bit better, fist collision. Okay. So this is a collision object. This is an object that can collide with other elements and cause physics events to happen. So I'm going to hit compile, save. But the issue with that is it's just going to kind of hang out here. So we're going to go to our construction script. And we're going to add a couple of things in here that's basically going to attach this fist to our character's hand joint. Okay. So I'm going to right click in here, and so we're going to start typing attach. And so what we're wanting is attach to component, let's see, attach to component mesh. Oh, there it is. Attach to component mesh. Right? So it knows which mesh we're talking about because we're in the this mesh that we're looking at. It knows we mean this guy, right? What we're going to need now is this fist collision. So I'm going to drag it in here. And we're actually going to swap these out. We want the mesh to be the parent, and we want the fist collision, that object, to be the target. Okay. Now we can choose whatever we want to on our character to hook that to it, but we need to know the name of that thing. So I'm going to go ahead and hit compile and save. If we go back to our viewport, you'll see nothing's really changed. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I'm going to go back to my male character, and I'm going to choose his skeleton. So in the skeleton, you can see that I can click and see different joints, right? We can see his spine joint. We can see, any of these things on the character. Well, the joint that I'm wanting to attach it to is his hand. And so if I go to, let's see, right arm 1 high res hand, you'll see that that is his right hand joint, right? There's also this metacarpal or some of these other joints if we wanted to attach it to that, but I'm going to do it to this hand. That's the name that we need to put into that node back in the viewport, or in the in the other blueprint. So I'm going to right click here and say copy selected bone names. Now I can close this and go back to my third person blueprint, and in there I can just hit Control V, right one hand. Now if I hit compile, save, and go back to my viewport, you'll see that the thing seems to have happened. Oh, there's a reason for that. So if I go back to my construction script, we got all this stuff going on, right? But we actually haven't plugged construction script into it. So I have to do that first. Compile, save. If I go to my viewport, you'll see that that is, in fact, parented to his hand, and everywhere his hand moves, that goes with it. We actually want this to stay closer. So what I'm going to do is, under location rules, I'm just going to tell it to snap to the target. Okay, and compile, save again. And when I go back to my viewport, you're going to see that that object is now fitting on his hand pretty well. Right. Now we can still grab that, and if we're not completely happy with the size, we can scale it up, make it a little bit of a bigger hit. When he closes his fist, the extent of it goes out to his knuckles, so we can kind of change that. We can even make it a little more. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Compile, save. Okay, so we would think that that would work, right? This is a collision object. We need it to collide with this box. So if I hit play, so it's colliding with it, but for some reason it's not necessarily working. We know that this box is going to simulate physics. So there's a couple of different solutions to this, but the easiest one that I found is going back into that third person character, going back to my viewport, choosing that fist collision, and then under collisions, I'm going to choose the collision preset and just say physics actor. Okay, and so now it's just going to assume that this is a physics object. So compile, save, and so this will be fun. We'll tumble around here, and now when our character punches, that thing goes flying. So let's try that again. So you can see it. We can knock that thing around however we want to. We can run over here and punch it some more. Just beat it up pretty good. Okay. So this is going to allow us to set up some stuff that will show us some results for our character's motion. So I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger so it doesn't. So it has a little bit more mass to it. Maybe it doesn't just go flying off. Oh my goodness. Didn't necessarily mean for that to happen. Let's see. So we are simulating physics. Maybe need to add just a little bit more mass to that. So do 3. Let's try that. See if that works any better. Oh goodness, maybe he's just really pretty hardcore. Let's do 300 there. Play. There we go. So now it's feeling a little less floppy when our character punches it. But definitely is giving us a result for his action, right? We could even make that a little bigger. Maybe make it, let's do like 1,000 and see what that feels like. And so now, oh goodness. All right. Well, we can keep playing with that. That didn't actually seem to help quite as much as I'd hoped. So this is currently. I bet that's why that's working. So this is currently working now, and we can make some, some larger objects. We can make all sorts of things for our character to punch, so we can start seeing some results from that impact. There we go. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video. The last thing we're going to do after this is we're going to compile this into an executable file so you can actually play this full screen and capture it for your animation. So we'll see you here in a bit. Bye.